Thank you everybody for joining today's How to Run Desktop Originator in Point webinar. First off, I want to mention that it's best for everyone to be on the latest Point build to run Desktop Originator. To check your current build, you can always go up to your Help menu and About Point. If you see that you need to update your Point to the latest version, you want to make sure you do that through the MikeCalix.com website to push out those installations and updates to your software. Now that we're back in Point, I'll go ahead and open up a loan file here, and we'll discuss a little bit about what it's required to have entered in order to run DO successfully. First, you want to think about all the different forms that DO is looking at for results. And these include the loan application, section 1 through 9, the lender loan information, page 1 and 2, and the Fannie Mae government and addendum screens, which are located under your services menu, Fannie, and then it's these two, addendum and government. So those are going to be the main screens you want to be paying close attention to prior to running Desktop Originator. So keeping that in mind, if you're getting an error message after running DO, this will kind of let you know what forms to be looking at for corrections to get past that error. So I'm going to go to my services menu at the top, Fannie Mae, and now Fannie Mae DODU. On this next pop-up, it'll go ahead and have your AUS type already pre-selected based off of what you put in your Fannie Mae connectivity settings. The transaction request type, where you have credit and underwriting, or underwriting only. You'll do credit and underwriting for the first request for DO, and then for every subsequent one, you can do underwriting only. Submission type, which is where you have preliminary, interim, or final. Preliminary can be for the first time, in case you're not selecting a lender in that example, because it will gray out your lender list here. But if you choose interim, that will ungray out the lender list and let you pick a lender. And then final, of course, will also let you run that final Desktop Originator and pick a lender as from this list also. In this example, I'm going to do an interim. The lender list is populated from your credentials that you put on Fannie Mae connectivity screen. When we hit OK from that screen, it did a refresh of the lender list, but you can also refresh your lender list from the same section right here on your Fannie Mae request screen. Just in case you didn't see what you're expecting to see in your lender list drop down here. Next section down is our credit section, where you have the credit company that you pulled credit through. Remember, again, it's very, very important that you have pulled credit from Point prior to running AUS. So either pulling brand new credit or reissuing credit so that credit reference number is stored inside a Point. So you choose your credit company that you pulled credit through. And in case your credentials for credit are different with Fannie Mae, then we have this new option here to check this box and enter in your credit credentials that may be different than what you used to pull credit through Point. In my example, they're the same. So I'm just going to uncheck that box and it'll use the credit credentials that I used to pull credit through from Point. Next section down, we have just a confirmation of your borrower and a reissue checkbox. This checkbox isn't checkable or anything. It's just there for you to confirm. And lastly at the bottom is our case file ID number. This will auto-populate if you have pulled Desktop Originator prior. In this example, I'm going to go ahead and remove this and click Submit as if I'm running it the first time. So I click Submit here, and it takes a few moments, and you'll see a little green bar go across the screen. It's at this time that you may get any errors or loan validation errors. And the loan validation error that may pop up is pretty general. That really doesn't tell you exactly what's missing on the Point file. But what's important is to check the error log after you get that loan validation error, and that will tell you what's actually missing from the point file. And I'll show you what that error log looks like here in just a couple minutes. After a successful result, you'll get a code 0, description successful completion, recommendation available, and then that recommendation will be approve eligible in this example. After that, I just hit OK. Next little screen that pops up is our Fannie Mae results screen, and inside that will be 3 different things: your credit report, an error log, and your underwriting findings. So first let's take a look at the credit log real quick. And this is the credit report from Fannie Mae. So you can review that here. Next is our error log that I mentioned a second ago. So if you were to get a loan validation error or any other errors, this is the error log that you want to open to take a look at. That'll give a little bit more description on what might be missing from your point file. This is what the error log looks like. In this example, there were no errors or warnings detected. If you were to have gotten one of those errors, like the loan validation error, you may only see one thing in the screen, and that is just the error log that lets you know what's missing before you can get your actual underwriting findings here. Let's take a look at the underwriting findings next. And here's the summary of findings with the approved eligible. And when I scroll down your findings here, you can see over on the right hand side that it is navigating for me. I'm going to go ahead and close out of that and close out of my results. When I close out of my results, my Fannie Mae request pop-up will also go away. And remember, after running AUS, your credit and underwriting findings will be stored into document management here. But if you ever need to get back to that pop-up that actually shows the underwriting findings, the Fannie Mae credit report, and the error log, you can go back to Services, Fannie Mae, and click on the View Documents option here. And this will bring up that same dialog box that was open just a second ago, so you can view that error log if you need to. But that concluded the how to run Desktop Originator from Point